So I'm in my car. I just left my gym, and I wanted to do some video slash spoken word about something else, but it's just something that had occurred to me, which, of course, this is nothing new to me or a lot of us, brothers, black men, people of color, about some of the most repulsive forms of white hypocrisy. Some of the shit we know already, but then, of course, you got some niggas who are stuck on stupid. If you don't believe me, take a look at this growing bullshit epidemic slash movement of black conservative thought. Anytime you mention the word liberal around some niggas, first thing to come into their mind is, oh, transsexualism, homosexuality, or feminism. You know what I mean? And or abortion, okay? That's the first thing that comes into their minds. But what they don't understand, these niggas are so dumb, these smart, dumb, special ed niggas, is that conservatives don't give a shit about your black ass. And it was the liberals who helped blacks with the civil rights movement of the 1960s, not conservatives. Conservatives, they're some of the biggest con artists and hypocrites. They want you to stay in your place, learn in your place. They want you to let them tell you what your place and role is in society. They want you to thank them for shitting and pissing all over you, and they want to tell you what you can and can't do in your own house and with your own body. And that's the type of people that conservatives are. Conservatives don't care nothing about your black ass, all right? Anyway, all that said, I was at the gym and I'm watching TMZ, and it's not often I watch TMZ because I don't give a damn about frivolous content, about celebrity pop gossip trash. I don't care about that. So there was this bomber over in Austin, Texas. And so come to find out that he had a manifesto, and my suspicions in the back of my mind were confirmed. And I made a video topic not too long ago about how a lot of these mass shootings, a lot of mass shooters lately are a bunch of sexually frustrated beta males. So this guy, I guess, I'm not, to be clear, I'm not sure if it was actually a manifesto or if it was just a small note that he wrote. So he was against abortion and homosexuality, like most conservatives are. Black conservatives or white conservatives, but especially white conservatives, because they believe that homosexuality, they don't believe that white men should engage in homosexuality. They believe that abortion is destroying their race. And this guy apparently said something like, well, if you don't want to have a kid, don't have sex. And I can talk about the stupidity and the hypocrisy behind that. You don't have to have sex in order to get pregnant, which is why some women choose sperm donors, and a lot of people who have sex are not interested in pregnancies. That's what contraceptions and tubal litigations are for. But, and I know I talked about that before on some other topics, okay? But I want to talk about the most repulsive form of conservatism and white hypocrisy, okay? You got a lot of black people who believe that, okay, well, thug culture is going to be our demise. Well, yeah, I'm 50-50 on that. All right. And I'm reminded of something that Thug Titian said. He made a video about like 9 or 10 years ago right here on YouTube. It's called Thug Blame, and it's just more racism. And he says something along the lines of how, you know, when you tell people to stop all this thug blaming shit, they remain silent. But when white males are exposed for being a bunch of child abusers, people who engage in shit like pedophilia, incest, bestiality, child abusers, murders of women, prostitute killers, and trigger happy police officers who go around fucking with people for fun and for kicks, then all of a sudden they become very vocal and they sit up and try to defend that bullshit, and they find every type of excuse they can to try to rationalize that garbage. And it's gotten to the point where now they make up names. Oh, well, Elliot Rodger had affluenza. I'm like, affluenza? I've never heard of that symptom before until then. And I'm like, wait a minute, well that's an entitlement. I didn't know having an entitlement complex was a mental illness. I thought that an entitlement complex was just a fucking entitlement complex. I thought it was just that. And then I'm also reminded of something Sergeant Willie Pete said, and I got very, very little love for him, but like anybody else, you chew the meat, spit out the bones. And he made an 1.5 hour long video about how, I think it was called, I Wish Black People Were Godless. And he said, look, you got a lot of these spoiled suburbanite middle-class white kids. Whenever they start acting out of pocket, their parents take shit away from them. No credit cards, no car, no PlayStation, none of that. Whereas if you grew up in the hood and nobody ever gave you anything, you're pretty much going to do what the hell you want. Or if you feel like nobody ever gave you nothing, you just going to take what you want or find another way to get it. And he's 100% correct, which is also brings me to the conclusion of how, again, a lot of these mass shooters are created by sexually frustrated white boys who got an entitlement complex, or they just hate the fact that their power structure is crumbling down and they can't deal with it. So they want to take themselves out and they want to take everyone else with them. All right. And again, it's an entitlement complex. It's like dealing with a bunch of spoiled kids. They're used to getting what they want, but then they go out here in the real world, nobody give them what they want one time, all of a sudden all hell breaks loose. And it's just like what Todd Boyd said about the OJ trial. He said, at the end of the day, here's a system that you created, and the system failed to work in your benefit just one time, then all of a sudden, people just, all of a sudden the system is no good. All right. And of course, I'm going to see comments all on Facebook and blogs everywhere about how, conservatives are trying to switch it. And you have a lot of alt-right bastards who want to sit up and try to switch it around saying, well, it's fatherlessness that are causing these white kids to kill people. First of all, most of them are not kids. They're all grown adult males in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. We're going to sit up here and blame father and listen to this for why George Sedini went inside of an LA Fitness gym over in, I think in Pittsburgh somewhere in 2009, and he went into a LA Fitness and he started shooting up women because he ain't got no pussy in 15 years. And then you had the bastards on YouTube, these true force loneliness idiots who will sit up and martyr this person. Same way Obsidian Ali, I don't know why the hell y'all listen to that smart, dumb son of a bitch. Quick to label other blacks as park apes, and he'll sit up and say, Tamir Rice did it to himself. Trayvon Martin and Michael Brown, they did it to himself for engaging in antisocial behavior. But you'll defend a piece of shit like Elliot Rodgers saying that he's entitled to his preferences. And this reminds me of something my mother told me when I was in high school. You got black kids doing 10, 20, 30 years for weed and drugs and all types of shit. Guilty by association fallacy. Cops pull you over and they try to find some shit on you for an hour and a half, 2 hours, trying to waste your time, trying to nitpick you. If they can't find nothing, they'll pin some shit on you. Or black kids, they're thugs. And they love sitting up here saying shit like, play stupid games, win stupid prizes, right? White kid go around killing people, white kids in their 20s, white adult males in their 20s shooting up people. People find all types of mental illnesses. Fatherlessness, lack of fathers. Let's give them love and let's give them counseling. Let's have him committed and put him into a psychiatric home. We can talk about his unhappy childhood and this and that and the third. I call bullshit. All right. And of course, a form of white privilege will allow certain whites to tell on themselves on social media, like that Chateau Artiste blogger who plagiarized the black man's playbook about game or whatever. And they'll sit up and say, white male pussyhood. The white man is being emasculated by the liberal agenda and by feminism and by Black Lives Matter and black liberalism. And if you're really smart, you can put two and two together. You know where this shit is going, and you know why you know what this shit is all about. Of course, these same people sit up and make excuses saying that these guys did not have fathers, and that's why they went around killing people. And again, I call bullshit. Now, a lot of these people did have fathers, whether they were active or not, that's another story. Well, then again, it doesn't even really make a difference, all right? You talk about this Elliot Rodgers kid. He had a father, and his father was the executive producer of the Hunger Games, but he didn't even hang around his own son. One, because he was busy with his craft of photography. Two, he knew that the boy had issues, and that's why it's messed up if you have your own family members who don't even want to be bothered with you. And of course, you got stupid niggas who sit up and chime in and make excuses, and then they want to try to flip the script the same exact way that hypocritical whites do. They flip it and they still obsess over, what about black on black crime? Okay, well, of course black on black crime exists, but at least they're not going around, committing mass murder and mass shootings, just blowing shit up. Not to that degree, not to the degree of what has been going on within the past several years. All right. Of course, when people cannot have their way, they try to sit up and they try to twist shit around. And I'm also reminded of something Advocatus Diaboli said in a topic that he wrote about fake outrage and mass shootings when James Holmes shot up the movie theater over in Colorado. He killed like 12 people. And you see a whole lot of fake ass speculated outrage. And Advocatus Diaboli, to elaborate on what he said, and this was a topic he wrote 6 years ago in 2012. He was like, okay, where's all this fake ass outrage coming from? I have not seen that much damn hypocrisy. Where's all of this outrage with, when the Vietnam War happened back in the 60s and 70s, the war in Iraq? When it takes a lot of balls and guts and courage to go into a third world country and kill a whole bunch of people who can't defend themselves, who don't have the weapons to fight you back over something that nobody gives a shit about. Or it takes a lot of guts to do that. Or it takes a lot of guts to go to a Occupy Wall Street protest, and you spray old elderly senior citizens and women in the face with pepper spray and mace and shit. People who are harmless, who don't have any type of weapons. So it takes a lot of guts to go around and kill unarmed black people just for the hell of it. Where was all this outrage with the war on drugs that fucked up the black community and the war on drugs over in Colombia? Where was all of this outrage at? You hear a whole bunch of old, impotent, idiotic white people talk about old, lazy young people who don't have no work ethic and all this bullshit. Right? It takes a whole lot of honor and balls to go to a third world country and kill people, or get away with killing people just because you're a cop wearing a snappy ass uniform and you got useless ass pieces of metals and ribbon on your uniform because you quote unquote did your job or you did your duty, But then these same people want to get angry and sad and lynch mobby when some asshole takes a gun and kills 12 people at a movie theater over in Colorado. Same shit happening now. Where was all of this outrage at when cops were going around killing niggas left and right? Where? Useless police raids and guilty by association fallacies and fake trumped up charges and asset forfeiture. You could just be at the wrong place at the wrong time and they tow your car and you gotta pay hundreds, $1,000 to get out of fucking impoundment. Where does that money go? It goes to the system. If anything, I hear the whole lot of these same people, well, Trayvon Martin, he was a thug, and Geraldo Rivera and Stephen A. Smith both said leave the hoodie at home. And while I'm at it, what's the difference between Geraldo saying leave the hoodie at home versus Stephen A. Smith saying leave the hoodie at home? The only difference is one person's Mexican, the other person is black, but they just both blame the victim, or they word it differently to try to make it sound more reasonable or some other type of shit. For those of you who doubt what I say about Stephen A. Smith saying that, in so many other words, that Trayvon Martin should have left the hoodie at home, check out that famous Mark Cuban speech and when Michael Eric Dyson got on First Take. This was 4 years ago on ESPN. All right. But again, they, and even us black people, we ignore this shit. We ignore cops going around killing unarmed black people left and right. And we think that shit is normal. But yet people, again, want to act angry and sad and lynch mobby and shit whenever a whole bunch of white kids start going in school, shooting up people, blowing up people. And the majority of these people had a white sexual inferiority complex, which is also the reason behind this whole war on drug shit. All right. And then you got dumb niggas who sit up and who co-sign with that garbage. Well, black. The reason why black on black crime exists, these black kids don't respect authority. They listen to too much rap music. They always fight. They're always listening to rap music. They use too much profanity. All they care about is sex, and they don't want to get married. Oh, there's a difference between having a lifetime partner and owning a pet. Get the fuck out of here, you stupid sons of bitches. I don't even know. And it's gotten to the point where you got a lot of niggas out here, black people. It's stupid enough, and I don't have a problem with integration, but then you have black kids who go to schools with white kids and other races of kids, and then they walk out and protest as well. Now, I'm not saying I'm totally against that, but it's gotten to the point to where, if you catch my drift, people fight for other people's causes and then they ignore their own, and they treat their own problems as if they don't exist. Meanwhile, our needs and our problems are ignored by society because we're so busy fighting for everyone else. And for those of you who don't understand what I'm saying, I don't know what else to tell you. This is like one of the many, many, many forms of white hypocrisy, conservative hypocrisy, and how repulsive these people have gotten and how bold they are. But I don't have no sympathy for them, because what goes around comes around, and you reap what you sow. Anyway, that's my topic for the day, and I'll holler at y'all in a minute.